Bonjour intelligence. Welcome to my review for the PS5 controller. Actually, this review is going to focus on whether or not the PlayStation 5 controller is worth it if you're just using it for the PC or other devices. Because I don't have a PlayStation 5 console, and if you want to donate one, I won't say no. Yeah, good luck with that. But yeah, is it worth it for just the Windows, PC? How many games support it, what devices it's supported on? How does it feel and look and all the rest of it? And leave a comment on any questions or thoughts that you have below after the fact. Let's do it. This review will be broken down into 4 different areas: the setup, look and feel, compatibility, and then conclusion as to whether or not it's worth it for the PC. So let's start with look and feel. I just realized that cut said look and feel, not look and feel first, setup first. So first, how easy is it to set up the PlayStation 5 controller on the PC? Windows 10, literally it's as easy as taking a USB-C cable, which I have handily ready here. This cable originally I have for my Oculus Quest thingy-majig-bob. You can use any USB-C connector that connects from USB to this, and you stick it in. So again, important thing to realize is that this does not work with PlayStation 3 or 4 cables, which use different connectors. PlayStation 4 uses like a mobile phone connector and what have you. Some phones I think use USB-C, but this one specifically needs a USB-C connector. So then you connect it, show you again, stick it in, goes in either way, and then it will light up and you're good to go. And obviously when you're doing it first time, it will say some stuff on Windows about setting up device, and then yeah, easy. With the setup out the way, you'll see that it's all working and everything in Steam and other places. We'll get into the compatibility part later. Let's go with about look and the feel of the actual device. This is the most Xbox-like controller ever that Sony has ever created, in my opinion. It's much more beefier, as you can see, than the previous PlayStation controllers. In fact, actually, let's get a PlayStation 4 controller out. Here we have a PlayStation 4 controller, some PlayStation 4 Pro. I think it's the same. You can see there's actually this is a little bit beefier, I suppose, than the previous ones. It used to be even skinnier, but it's a fatter. It feels fatter. Weight-wise, I'm gonna say the PlayStation 5 controller is slightly heavier, but it still feels quite light. It has some grooves underneath. I don't know if I can show it with this camera, show some dirt on it instead. This light groove is underneath that maybe stops it from moving slightly. Which even the PlayStation 4 had, but feels a little bit more, you know. As you can see, there's not the light thing on the front anymore. And I think because of the lack of lights on the device itself, that's how, I mean, you get lights here through this area. But do like that, you might see, if you get lights there at the top. I don't think this will be enough for the PlayStation VR though. The PlayStation VR relied on lights, whereas say the Oculus relies on cameras. So the PlayStation VR relies on the environment being quite dark, and the Oculus is opposite, and that was what the lights were about on the PlayStation controller that you have here. That's more blatant. Alright, I've been time I just went trying to set myself up for lunch while I'm recording this, yeah? Alright, so yeah, enough of the VR chat. Speaker's still a thing. This I'm not sure if anyone can confirm or not, but I have not seen any proof that this works on the PC. But the speaker feature is probably the least used feature on the PlayStation controllers, I would say, as well as the motion. So this is meant to have motion. I haven't seen it used yet. Again, remember, I don't have a PlayStation 5 at this point in time. PlayStation button is there now, as opposed, well, it's kind of the same as opposed to, I was about to say, but look. Same thing there. Speaker's in the same position. Obviously got the sticks, same place, buttons in the same place. Touchpad operates the same way as well, D-pad operates the same way, pretty much, with the left side, right side, and middle press as well. And obviously, touchscreens still work as well. I'll get into the compatibility part when I talk about that a bit more, but yeah, feels pretty good. I think it feels even better than the PS4 controller for sure. I don't know, the PS4 controller now in comparison feels a lot more, I don't know, I want to say cheap or flimsy. Also, we're quickly to get the Xbox controller here, which feels a little bit more substantial as well. This is the Xbox One controller. I should have probably wiped it a little bit first, man. Trying to want the dirt and usage on it. But anyway, yeah, obviously. So that's a bit more girthy, as you can see. And I think it has a similarity feel to the PlayStation 5 controller. Here's a question for you guys while I've thought about it. Which one's your favorite controller? If you've used all of these, which one's your favorite? I mean, there's also the Nintendo one as well. Another beefy boy. The Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Beefy boy controllers are the way now, apparently, aren't they? So do you guys, which of you guys is your favorite controller? Do you like these fatter controllers? Do you like the thinner, old school PlayStation controllers? These ones are not the best example because it's the fatty one. I've got a non-brand PlayStation 3 controller I could get out. Wait, where's my PS5 one gone? Oh, there we go. Got so many controllers now. So yeah, anyway, this one feels, I like the way this feels. If I could, I probably would main with this now. Especially when the features are kicking. And obviously, yeah, you got your mic jack slot there. But the focus is gonna work. And I'm not sure what this is. I think that's to mute the mic, this button here. I think you'd be able to mute your mic and then not turn it on and off, I think. But yeah, otherwise everything is the same. The main features again is, for people that know, it's got the motion, which I haven't witnessed yet. Touchpad is still a thing, as previous, as well as buttons on here. And obviously you've got your sticks and all the rest of it. And then the triggers have things in them that make them act like real life situations, in terms of if you're trying to like fire a gun and the gun's jammed, then this one will just stick and you can't push it in. Kind of adds to immersion and so forth. I should probably say that more for the compatibility, but yeah. Oh yeah, also I think that's your share button there. And that's the pause button, which is pretty much the same deal as PS4. Yeah, I noticed something's missing on here though. 4 has this thing here that says extension or something. Yeah, EXT. And the PlayStation 5 controller doesn't seem to have that. Just does that microphone slot. Gosh, I hope I clean my nails. So it's yeah, so it's the immersive side of things that adds to it, and the rumble as well. Obviously, the rumble's a little bit more different, a little bit more defined than the rumble I've had before in my life. That sounds kind of wrong as well. So now we've done that, the next thing we want to look at is actual compatibility. Now this one's a little bit more tricky. I tested a lot of stuff, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna display it, if I'll just kind of show on the screen or if I just go through them real quickly. I tested on the PC, obviously, PlayStation 4 Pro, PS3 Slim, PlayStation TV, and PlayStation Now PC. Device compatibility wise, best compatibility has been on the PC. PS4 Pro doesn't work at all for me unless you use the remote play app thing, which I don't know, but people have done it with that. PS3 recognizes it, but it recognizes it in the same way that it recognizes the PS4. It's kind of weird that it works on the PS3 but doesn't work on the PS4 at all. But there you go, I don't know. Ask Sony. So yeah, you won't get no vibration basically on the PS3 if you use it. PlayStation TV, nope. PlayStation Now PC, believe it or not, has zero compatibility. It doesn't even recognize it as a controller for me in the latest version. So it's something to think about as far as that's concerned. PS4 is fine. Xbox controller works to a degree, but with the PlayStation 5 controller, PlayStation's own download streaming service does not recognize it. Games I tested with included Days Gone, which is obviously a Sony game, works perfect, acts just like a DualShock 4 basically. Resident Evil 8 I tried it with, even though Resident Evil 8 doesn't seem to work with any controllers that are PlayStation, oddly enough, despite its origins. Doom 64 via Stadia Chrome actually worked except for vibration. Everything worked except for vibration. Metro Exodus all working. You get the tested at the very beginning, you get like a kind of little pop, kind of weird thing that's going with the trigger, where it's like you're popping the trigger. It's going dush, dush, dush. Hard to describe, but it works. It's pretty cool. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out more and more. Tried with Scarlet Nexus on Steam as well. That was messed up. The L2 was the R2 and square was circle and things weren't working. Doesn't like it at the moment. I tried with some classics. Shadow Man Remastered doesn't work at all. Xbox controller gets confused while its PS4 controller is connected at the same time as well. Psychonauts via Steam, it works, but it doesn't switch depending on what controllers you have in, and the vibration didn't work either. Cyberpunk 2077 via GOG Galaxy doesn't work at all. Didn't recognize it. I couldn't get it to work on any of the Game Pass games that I tried. The Game Pass games doesn't seem to recognize any PlayStation controller, or at least PlayStation 5 controller. I tried it in the Ascent, the Outer Worlds, and Streets of Rage 4. None of them recognized PlayStation 5, and I don't think the 4 controller either. And then I finally tried another Steam game, Tormented Souls. It works, but the interface does assume Xbox controller, that you're using the Xbox controller. And I can't confirm whether vibration works or not because I haven't played long enough in that one to tell you. But the compatibility, as you can see, was very sketchy. And obviously, I should mention it does work in DEATHLOOP, which is kind of what inspired me to see if I could do this with a little extra change given by a very kind family member. And I thought I'd splurge and see how the compatibility is and do this video for you guys. And DEATHLOOP is fully compatible except for the mic. The speaker part doesn't work. You're meant to get taunted by what's her name? Is it Tatiana? I forget her name. The lady that wants to kill you. She's meant to taunt you in the speaker, and it doesn't happen. But everything else works, including the haptic feedback, vibration, and the triggers. Where if you get like a and it keeps jamming, that's going to be a thing. If you get a beefier gun, the trigger's a little bit more different as well, and so forth. So that's really cool. So the compatibility is very sparse and iffy. It's still not as compatible as the Xbox controller, which is complete daddy when it comes to compatibility. There's use cases here and there. Finally then, we hit the conclusion. Okay then, so is the PlayStation 5 controller worth it for the PC as of the 16th of September 2021? I would say overall, if you're looking for a controller that will work everywhere and just be generally your controller, go-to controller, I'd say that you're probably better off just getting an Xbox One or Xbox Elite controller. Just in terms of compatibility, if a game takes a controller, this bad boy will work. If you are already own a Xbox controller, but you want to maybe just experience games like DEATHLOOP, like it was a PlayStation 5, with the PlayStation 5 features minus the speaker, you just want to kind of have a little bit of the extra immersion that you get with, like I said, DEATHLOOP, Metro Exodus. I think Formula 1 2021 has features on this controller as well. There's about less than 5 or 6 games that support this on PC in terms of the actual unique features. So that's what you'd be doing if you're buying right now. And then some games work with the controller that aren't supporting the features, some don't. So I would still say that you definitely need an Xbox controller at the least, so that if you do want to use controllers, you always got something that will work. And then this will be your kind of splurge, your kind of luxury, kind of almost like ray tracing in a way. Ray tracing is not necessary, but it adds to the immersion. And this controller, when it works and when they actually implement the features of developers, adds to your immersion of your gameplay in the creative ways that it can be used. But like with many Sony hardware, sometimes they get underutilized. So I can't guarantee that you're gonna get your money's worth necessarily, unless you count 2 or 3 games as getting your money's worth, which will probably be about at least 100 hours of gameplay out of this thing at least, not including games that are compatible in the standard way. But as for games that are specific feature-wise, there's very few at the moment. I'd only recommend this if you are very all about immersion and you don't mind it. There's not a lot of games that support it yet, and hope that more games will do. I assume more will do over time, so it could be a good investment in that way, but you probably could wait. But otherwise though, it's a very nice controller and it would be great. I could main with this kind of controller for sure. If it worked, this would be my go-to because it feels even nicer than the actual Xbox controller. It's got a good weight and girth to it. This would be my go-to whenever I get the opportunity. This would be my go-to controller now. But compatibility is an issue. There's not many games that support all the features, so bear that in mind. So from the PC perspective, PC only perspective, rating wise, if I had to give it a number, and I'm not planning to give this a number per se, I don't know, maybe 8, 9 out of 10 possibly, despite the fact there's very few things, but when it does work, I think it's an excellent controller. So yeah, there you go. Is a PlayStation 5 controller worth it for the PC? Answer is maybe. Thanks for watching. Do the like thing. Leave a comment, questions, or any other things you want me to do and compare and test for you. Any other video ideas you want to see in regards to this bad boy. And check out some other coverage of things that popped up on the screen just now. Cheers and sayonara gozaimasu.